In today's video, we're going to discuss Arnold Schwarzenegger's arm routine. We're going to revamp this thing and we're going to make it applicable to all of you. What's up, guys? It's Anthony from AB Fitness Center, where we help you to lose body fat, gain muscle, and get stronger. All right, so I have this really cool mag. I have a ton of these magazines, so I'm excited to kind of actually make this kind of like, I guess, a series on the channel. But I have a ton of these old Arnold magazines. I'm an Arnold aficionado, I guess, whatever. So as you can see, Arnold's my guy. We all want to look like Arnold, right? Like, that's kind of like the thing. So I want to dive into these different routines that are out there based on his different routines that he has and different workouts that they've put out. I'll show you guys some of the pictures in here because they're really cool, but I want to break down his arm routine. I want to talk about it, and we're going to revamp it, and we're going to show you guys how we can make it better. All right, so I want to explain to you guys really quick before we get started in this why arms are important for me. So genetically, growing up as a kid, arms were never really a strong point for me. I was always a really skinny kid. My arms were really always skinny. They just were never a strong point to me. And I always wanted to get big arms. So I've set out on this mission for years in my life to gain size on my arms. So I feel like I'm an authority in gaining arm mass because I am genetically not gifted in the arm department. And I was successfully able to grow my arms over 18 inches naturally just by training smartly. So I like to, and again, this is what I do with everything. I take everything that I do, like Arnold's routines, I tear them apart and I really look at how I can make it applicable to someone who doesn't have genetically gifted arms. Because as we know, Arnold had genetically gifted arms. They grew very easily. So following his advice technically wouldn't really work. Plus he's Arnold. So we got to make this more applicable to all of you listening. All right, so again, one thing I should cover before we get started, genetically, you have certain insertions on your biceps, and where your biceps insert will show you how high your biceps can get. So as you can see, Arnold's biceps pretty peaked there. That's just all genetic. Can't change your genetics, but you could just grow your arm overall. So let's get working on this magazine. So this is Muscle Mag. What year is this? This is 2007, March 2007. I have a ton of these. I guess I could collect them, but I just like them. They're so cool. I mean, look at his bicep. I mean, that thing is just like, that's unreal. Look at that thing. It's crazy. All right, so let's get this rolling. And I'll show you guys the pictures as we go. All right, so how Arnold built his massive 22.5-inch arms. That's huge, man. That's big. So let's work into his routine here. And again, that's another great picture. You can see like the veins in his biceps and stuff. It's just crazy. Crazy. All right, so let's look at the routine that he has listed out here. He talks about like the importance of flexing here. He's doing concentration curls, which is a good exercise. He talks about like the importance of flexing, cheating barbell curls, Zotman curls. Okay, so he's recommending heavy cheat curls. So the reason for me especially, so Arnold went on record saying, it says it right here, at the 1966 NABBA Mr. Universe contest, he came on stage and curled 275 pounds for 3 reps. So cheat curls have never been one of those, have always for me been that movement that I never really felt in my biceps. I was always able to cheat curl pretty good amount of weight, but I was never able to really feel it. So if you're gonna do cheat curls, one of the things that I recommend in doing them, I would recommend doing a slow negative. Because you can heave and hold the weight all up and down all you want, but you want to make sure that you're feeling it in the biceps. So I recommend coming up, squeezing, actually trying to squeeze your biceps and then come down and doing a slow eccentric movement. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. I prefer and I believe that dumbbells are way more superior to barbells when it comes to developing that mind-muscle connection with the bicep. But neither here nor there, Arnold's routine, he suggested you pyramid up in weight each set and the reps come down. So your 5 sets of this will look like 1 set of 10, 1 set of 8, 1 set of 6, 1 set of 5. So your last set should be your heaviest. So basically pyramiding up in weight, making sure that you're working the top set. I also disagree with this. I believe that you should just do 5 sets straight. It's just much easier to keep track of the weight and making sure that you're progressing with the movement. So that's his first exercise that he recommends for biceps. The next one is incline dumbbell curls. He says, this was my second favorite mass building exercise. Incline dumbbell curls were a favorite of both Steve Reeves and Reg Park. And he talks about how he did them. I actually don't disagree with this. I think that incline curls are amazing for bicep development. They put your arm in a really, really good place. You can't cheat it up, and it's a great movement for overall biceps. Does he say how many sets here? So it's on record that Arnold's routine was like 5 sets of every movement. It doesn't say it here for some reason, but yeah, that's probably what he did. And again, I like to go higher rep just to, I want to see just if it has it really quick. Oh, here it goes. So yeah, 5 sets of 8 to 10. Okay, that's essentially where his routine is at with incline curls. And I would agree with that. I think that 8 to 10 reps on incline curls is probably a good staple. Again, you want those, especially if you don't have genetically good arms, you want to put your arms in the most strictest movement possible so you're actually feeling the biceps working. You can't really heave and hold the weight in there. So that's why I kind of don't recommend doing cheat curls first. I would prefer doing incline dumbbell curls first. All right, so then he has standing alternate dumbbell curls. He says, this is a great bicep exercise because it really allowed me to isolate the biceps well, and I can superset my wrists on every movement and squeezing and flexing the biceps hard on every movement. It should feel like there's cramping in the biceps, and the outer head of the biceps, you twist the wrist. Now, standing dumbbell curls are good. I prefer dumbbells over barbells just in general for gaining muscle size in the bicep department. I think that that's crucial because, again, if you have, typically, if genetically your arms aren't a strong point, you can't feel and flex as hard as you should be with them. And dumbbells help you do that a little bit more. They also let each arm work independently. So I would actually start with the, if you wanted to follow Arnold's routine, alternating dumbbell curls first. I actually also prefer to do them seated. I believe that, again, you want to try to minimize the leg movement as much as possible. Seated keeps you a little bit more strict and allowing only the upper body to move. So that's the tweak that I would make there. And on this, he would do, I believe it's probably 5 sets also. 5 sets, 8 to 10 reps. Okay, so that's what he would do. All right, then he would go into freestanding one-arm dumbbell concentration curls. I didn't show you guys the pictures there, but cool, pretty cool stuff. All right, so then he would go into freestanding one-arm dumbbell curls. I actually really like this movement for biceps. Concentration curls are really good, especially if you do them the way Arnold did. And he had one, does he have a picture of it in the next page? Let's see. Yeah, he does. So the way Arnold used to do them, he would stretch down and curl it up. I like it free like that without the elbow resting on the knee. I think that that's crucial there and critical. That movement is really good because you can really flex and squeeze your bicep on every one, and you could really feel it. And also when you're bent over like that, it takes the shoulder out of the equation, so you're really focusing on that bicep pump when you do that one. So I would keep that one in there. I think that that one's a really good movement to keep in there. And let's see really quick. And he's doing 5 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Again, when your arms, for me especially, when arms are not a genetically strong point for me, the higher the volume, the better for me. Biceps recover pretty quickly also, and I want to make sure that I'm drilling down. And studies have shown time and time and again that more volume typically equates to more strength, more overall hypertrophy. So, and I call it hypertrophy. Hypertrophy, that's what I call it. So you want to make sure that you're also adding sets. So while this may seem like a lot and it may be hard for you to recover from this, you want to build yourself up to it. So maybe start with 3 sets for each exercise, and then as that gets easier and you start getting better recovery from it, maybe then you bump it up and you go 4 sets. You know, take your time with this, but I do think there's a lot of things in this routine, and I'll summarize the whole thing for you after. All right, let's move on into, triceps now. Okay, so he's got some pictures of him doing triceps. All right, again, that standing dumbbell curl picture is pretty famous. All right, so triceps. So let's see here, his movements for triceps. So triceps, pick 5 or 6 of these exercises. So this magazine actually got pretty lazy and there's like literally 1 page on triceps there. But so it says pick 5 to 6 of these exercises and do 5 or 6 sets, 10 to 20 reps. Arnold has went on record saying that he was also a big fan of doing higher reps for triceps. So fixed bar tricep extensions, tricep push downs, kickbacks, one-arm push-downs, lying tricep extensions, one-arm dumbbell lying extensions, close grip bench press, seated French press, push-downs, weighted dips, behind the back tricep dips with feet elevated, So there's a lot of just random stuff kind of thrown in here, and this is why magazines kind of get away with this stuff, because they just put Arnold on the cover and think you're going to get real information, and it's just kind of this. It's just blurbs. So let's talk about triceps. So triceps, again, I agree with Arnold with the higher rep stuff. You should always be doing mass building movements when it comes to tricep development anyway. So close grip bench press, regular bench press, dips, those should be all part of your normal routine anyway, because that'll overall equate to the size and strength in your triceps. But when starting with triceps, one of the things that I prefer to start with is a rope press down. A rope press down, I believe, is the best way to start and warm up, because it warms up the elbow and really gets you to really feel and contract the movements. So Arnold has a fixed bar extension, so he would just basically use like a pull down. Do I have one? No, I don't have it up there, but basically a pull down bar, and he would do extensions off that. You could start that way too, but so some type of pull down movement would be ideal to start with. Then he goes into a lying tricep extension, which I agree with. I think a lying tricep extension is really good. I've been doing them a lot with dumbbells lately, and I don't really notice a difference as far as like mass building, but I do notice a lot less elbow pain when using dumbbells for tricep skull crushers in that case. But again, you can use either one. Typically when you use the barbell, you're gonna be able to use a little bit more weight, but it's kind of a pain to get that into position. What else does he have on here? Kickbacks. Kickbacks, I think, are also a really good underrated movement for tricep development, because it also puts the tricep in a good position for a peak contraction, so you can really squeeze back here on each one. And again, same thing with that volume. Five to six sets, 10 to 20 reps. Volume over time is what's going to build more muscle. So again, you have to work your way up, start with 3 sets and then go from there. Usually what I do is I keep track of how much volume I'm actually doing per each muscle group, and then I just kind of build up on that over time, and then I'll go through. So maybe for 4 weeks I'll build up and I'll work my way from 10 sets, 12 sets, 14 sets, and then maybe I'll start feeling burnt out. I'll take a deload week, I'll drop it to 8 sets, a body part, and then I'll build back up from there, and trying to always push the envelope and build more and more. So that just kind of goes there. This article talks about forearms. We don't have to cover that. If you're doing heavy deadlifts, heavy shrugs, things like that, you're getting plenty of forearm development. But yeah, overall, that's his routine. Like I said, this is the beautiful part of magazines. It just really talks about one thing. So in this magazine, we didn't learn anything about his 22-inch arms. We just basically learned his routine. So what I would do to make this better, okay? I would drop the cheating barbell curls. I wouldn't do those. I don't think that those are necessary for overall bicep development, especially when genetically your arms aren't a strong point. So what I would start with would be incline dumbbell curls. I think that's a great movement for mass. I would do those. Then I would go into standing seated alternating dumbbell curls, really focusing on squeezing the biceps there. One of the movements that isn't on here, but they show a picture of it, is Arnold doing preacher curls. I think that preacher curls, where is it? Hold on, guys, there you go. There's a picture of him doing preacher curls. And the quote says, "I used preacher curls later on in my career, but they were never an important exercise for me." But when you're genetically not strong enough in the bicep department, preacher curls are amazing, especially dumbbell preacher curls, because it keeps that arm fixed in, and you can really focus on squeezing and developing and stretching the biceps. So just summarizing: incline dumbbell curls, seated alternating dumbbell curls, dumbbell preacher curls, and then I would finish off with a dumbbell concentration curl, and you could really focus on squeezing there. For triceps, again, I would recommend starting with a push down of some sort, a rope. I prefer the rope. If not the rope, then definitely a straight bar. I like actually using the pull down bar. I think that's a good bar too. Then I would move on into some dumbbell kickbacks, again, just to make sure the tricep is nice and warmed up and there's plenty of blood in there. Then I would go into heavy skull crushers and probably an overhead movement like that too as well. Those are good. I prefer to do that with the cable as well, or 2 dumbbells overhead. If you have trouble with that, 1 arm is also good. So that's the arm routine, guys. That's the arm routine that I would do. Again, working your way up with volume. This is why I really like going over these magazines, and I think this will be an important part of the series, because they gave you no information here. Nothing. And they just basically talked about, I mean, Arnold's great, so obviously nothing away from Arnold, but what worked for Arnold is not going to work for you. You have to really fine-tune the basics. And again, when your arms aren't genetically strong points, you have to really understand how they work and focus on movements that keep you nice and strict. All right, guys, so hopefully that video helped you. If it did, drop a comment below. Let me know if you want to see these, if you want me to do another one, if you want me to do like his back routine, his chest routine, and talk about how we can apply this to natural lifters and people who just want to look better. I can definitely do that too, so drop me a like below. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never, ever, ever miss a beat. And if you want to check out my arm routine, I'll put a link up here, and I'll put the playlist somewhere over here so you guys can watch that as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.